In the shop today, we have a True Turf roller. This is a RS4811C model, and it's got a cracked gas tank, and we're gonna swap it out. This is the machine right here, and looking down here, you can see it's busted. Now, these tanks only have two supports right here, and these machines, when they tend to bounce around, you can see all the pressure. There's nothing that really supports the other side of this here. So it's really just relying on these two bolts in the back. And over time, it will start cracking, and it'll get worse and worse until it does this. And being that this is a roller and it's on the greens, you don't want to take the chance of this thing falling completely off, having a gas spill on the green, and then you're in a whole bunch of trouble. So, got a new tank here off of Amazon. It was only like 25, 30 bucks, and we're gonna put it on. First thing we're gonna do is remove these two bolts. You're gonna want a 10mm wrench or socket. Take these off. Now you're gonna want some type of siphoning tool, kind of like this little pump here that I have in the shop. And the reason you're gonna need that is because this machine's kind of heavy to tip over on its side to get this gas out. And the gas line on this runs under here. And with these bolts loosened up, let's see if you can see under there. Let me turn the light on. You can see there's your gas line right there. So if I were to go ahead and pull that line off, that gas is gonna start dripping all over the top of the motor. So I want to try to get out as much of that gas possible before I pull that line off. Let's go ahead and shut the gas off. Our gas is empty. Now we can pull up on this with these. You can see your gas line there. So we got a little clip right here. If you can see that clip. But you get a pair of pliers, if I can do this with one hand or not. Put that on that clip. Just kind of slide that down. Alright, line's off. Now we can pull this up. Just keep this tilted back in case there's any little bit of gas remaining in there. Alright, tank is off. Now would be a very good time because you're never under this part of the machine, and you can see all the crud that develops under here. And basically this is, what controls your throttle right here. So you want this kind of free and clear of all this debris and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get some cleaner, maybe some carbon choke cleaner, spray it on here. I'm going to get the air gun, blow all this out, clean all this up. One thing to keep in mind, note, if you are going to clean under here, you want to close that fuel line because that is going into your carburetor, and the last thing you want is to blow all this dirt and grease down into that line, and then you got crap in your carburetor and inside the block, and before you know it, this thing's going to be hard to start, and you're going to have all kinds of other motor problems. So take a second, find a bolt that fits there, and close that up before you go and clean all this. Alright, now, so your old tank has this plastic nipple here, and 9/16 you would need to take that off. But if you look on your new tank before you take this one off, there should be, under the cap, there it is. It's a brand new one, and that's where you're going to find it, under the cap. But before you go take that one off, just check and see if you have one that came with it. Now, these things are plastic, so when you're putting these in, just put them in by hand. And again, you'll need a 9/16, but don't over crank these because it's very easy to strip these out, to break them. So just go real gentle and just nice and snug when you're tightening these up. Alright, otherwise you will be leaking like crazy. And so we'll go ahead and put that down in there. And you're going to turn it right. Now if it feels tight, don't force it in there because it's plastic. Plastic threads going into metal, and you will cross thread these and strip it out real easy. So just make sure you're getting it in there. It's hard for me to film and do this at the same time. I had to set the phone down to get this on the right angle because it's goes in kind of sideways here. So but you'll know when it starts threading, it'll start going pretty easy. All right, now I got it pretty tight by hand. All right, and don't strip this out. You're just gonna do a couple turns till it's nice and snug. I'm not putting any pressure on right now. All right, I feel it getting tight now, and that's where I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna go too tight. I would put your finger right over this. All right, and you could dump just a small amount of gasoline in there if you want, and just kind of observe it and make sure that nothing's leaking out of there. All right, and if it is, you may have that too tight and you may want to back it out a little bit, or you may have it not tight enough. Okay, but definitely test this first. Let me set this down. Basically what you want to do is you want to hook that hose back up there. All right, so I'll need my second hand to do that, but hook your hose back up and put the clip back on there, and then you will just set it down into those two grooves there, and then you'll go ahead and put your bolts back on, fill it up with gas, put your cap on, and don't forget, turn your gas back on over there. I put it all back together, and I put the cap on that came with the gas tank, and I started the machine up, and it started spilling gas out of the gas cap. It's not fitting right, so I want to show you what I did to correct it in case you have the same problem. Now, my old gas cap would not fit on there. Now the new one, I'll show you what it's doing. Start it up. You'll see it spitting gas out of here. Now that's not good, considering that this machine is used to roll greens, and getting gas on the greens is no good. So what you need to do to fix this problem, take this cap off, and you see this little filler neck that comes with it? This is why it's leaking. So I took that out, put my cap back on, try to wipe this clean a little bit so we can see. Now let's start it up. And now it's not leaking, so that's a factory default on that tank. So that's what you're gonna have to do to get that working. If you see a leak, you're gonna have to take that that filter out of there, which I don't like to do because that filter captures a lot of dirt that might come out of the gas tank or the gas you're putting in. But I'll do a review on that tank just so other people are aware of that. All right, but that's it. And if this tip or tutorial helped you out, please hit subscribe below and give me a like. I do these videos daily, and I'll see you guys next time.